2015, and that is going into my book that I'm working on now. Right now, I'm just basically taking notes and memories and putting it all together. And what happened in 2015 was I'm able to put myself into a self-regression, and I found myself with Mr. And Mr. and I don't see him in reptilian form, ever. We don't have to do that. We are beyond that.
Okay.
We're beyond the need for the physical. I could feel his energy, and what he was he was his size and form, but featureless. And we were walking down a ramp together. He was on the left side of me. I remember it so clearly. And we were walking down a ramp, which I knew to be the bottom of the ship. And when we got to the bottom of the ship, we were greeted by a smiling, human-looking being in a long white gown with beautiful wings. And he had the biggest smile I've ever seen in my life. It was almost animated. I almost laughed because it was the biggest smile I've ever seen in my life. He was all teeth. And I felt as if he was actually waiting for Mr. and I. And he was glad to see us. And I looked around the room. I scanned the room, and it was circular, and it was divided into several different sections. And the entire room was computer. The only time I've ever seen anything like it, I was over visiting my best friend Tom, and he had taken off the back of his television. And I said, that's it. That's what I saw when I was on ship, that kind of stuff. The whole room was this computer stuff. And you know how much I know about the computer, which is zero. And it was all, and it was separated, and there was an angelic being, and they all had their backs to me, except for the ones closest on this side, and I got side view of that one. And they all had wings. And I reached up to Mr., who was just form, and I whispered, I said, they all have wings. What are they, angels? And I could feel his humor at my question. He said, ask them, telepathically. He said, ask them. So I looked at the smiling being, and he said, we are benevolent beings. We are here to save the planet. If this makes us angels, then we are. I remember feeling overwhelming love and gratitude. I was so grateful to these beings that they were all working together, something that we can't do. They're all working together to save this damn planet. And here we are, we can't even get along. And I wanted to stay there forever. I wanted to be with these loving beings. And one of Mr.'s first messages was, perception is the way we define our reality. And I had defined these beings as angels. So maybe I was seeing them as angels because what they were doing was so beautiful. Or maybe they were angelic beings. I know I had spoken to Linda Moulton Howe. She had called me about this because I had sent her the illustration that I had drawn and told her about it. And she said that there really were angelic beings, and they had been seen by many people, including astronauts. So that validated the angelic beings too.